Hey, hi there. So, first episode of Euroball, and wanted to make it a, let's say, hot take, so to say. I'm going to be covering three, four different leagues today, and I specifically wanted to naturally get into some of the top things that I've been seeing around. By the way, guys, I'm on the road, so uh, I'm either giving trainings, basically doing a lot of stuff in terms of looking into potential consultancies with teams and potentially also looking at things outside of the Benelux region. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. But anyway, just wanted to give you a little, let's say, clarity on what's going on. Anyway, so start out with EuroLeague. Uh, as always, nothing really surprises me with what goes on there. But you guys know me. I always have an eye out on what really happens around the EuroLeague a lot, and love to follow it. I think by far the best league of Europe, without a question of a doubt. Um, yeah, just the recent stuff that I've been seeing. So I've just kind of like watched a few games here and there, and then gonna give my takes on them right now. So overtime win for Valencia and Belgrade. Jared Harper, what an amazing performance. Doing amazing things over there. Valencia got their third road win. And on the flip side of things, Belgrade lost their third straight, let's say, game so far. So tough circumstance for Belgrade at that point. Moving along, Baskonia won against Milano. Milano definitely not in a circumstance that I was expecting them to be this season. Extremely surprised, to be honest. I thought that with the players that they got in, the kind of, let's say, add-ons that they put together, they would not be in the case where they've lost seven straight games right now. And for sure, Coach Messina is definitely going to do an amazing job in, let's say, getting the team to a certain point. But I think the focus and the fact that they're going to have more on the Italian league, Serie A, is definitely going to be coming up for them. Monaco beat Asvel, and doesn't really surprise anyone that Mike James and the gang really stepped it up. Uh, to be honest, I think Monaco had the upper hand over against Asvel at that point. But I mean, hats off again to Asvel. Coach Parker over there does a solid job in terms of trying to execute amazing plays in any case. So great stuff in that game too. Mirotic played in his first EuroLeague game in the regular season, and Barcelona won against Alba Berlin, even though it was a very tough game, I have to say. And Alba really tried to, let's say, push. It was definitely very, very tough. And yeah, Coach Gonzalez at Alba definitely has some very interesting tactics and strategies to, let's say, look into. So for those of you that are interested in the EuroLeague, for sure have a look at how game execution, especially in the late end of the third quarter and fourth quarter, really do turn out. If you want to definitely dig into that, watch that game again. Mirotic had an amazing first game back, I think. Goes beyond my expectations, at least. He really did do a solid job. A.Efes beat Olympiacos, and Mirotic actually kind of brushed shoulders with a triple double. And yeah, Kurnosov Simon's jersey retirement by Anadolu Efes was definitely also something very amazing to watch. Simon spent the last couple of seasons, close to about 4 or 5 seasons, I think, with Anadolu Efes, and that was definitely amazing to see. But within the game, so Efes beating Olympiacos, Micic really stepped it up. Efes, when they turned the boosters on in terms of behind the arc shooting, they really are impossible to really kind of contain, and Olympiacos basically had that trouble. Bulgarian MVP of last month, um, Ryzenkov, he definitely had a good game for Olympiacos. However, I mean, I think Olympiacos need to come to the fact that their inside-out game needs to be reestablished and better established, so to say, to be able to, let's say, make better pushes towards the end of the games. Uh, but yeah, I mean, Georgic Bourbois definitely uh, did an amazing job, especially at A.Efes, and I mean, Will Clyburn. Um, this guy, I'm gonna talk about him a little later on as well. But I mean, I think this guy definitely did a good thing by not signing an NBA minimum contract and playing for what he does in Europe. I think it's definitely a better circumstance for him. But I'll definitely get into that a little later on before I close the show off. Um, Today, Fenerbahce plays against Real Madrid. Zalgiris play against Panathinaikos, and Bayern are playing against an undermanned Maccabi Tel Aviv. Red Star are also playing against Bologna. Out of these games, I would definitely say for those of you that actually want to watch, check out the Fener game. That's definitely going to be a very interesting one. But I will also not put aside the fact that the Bologna Red Star game is also maybe one to watch. I mean, they're all good games to be honest, but still, um, I mean, with Maccabi being undermanned at this point against Bayern, I think Coach Tincher is definitely going to try to up the boosters and then try to win that game. And yeah, Zalgiris Panathinaikos, not two of my favorite teams to be honest, but again, at EuroLeague caliber, both these teams they do great stuff. So it's definitely maybe for the more fan of either team to basically look into. Yeah, moving along with looking at the 7 days EuroCup, Prometey came back from an 18-point deficit, but I mean, Ratiopharm Ulm, love those guys. Jallo, he just nailed that last second shot, and Ulm are now 3-3 in 7 days EuroCup. Amazing, definitely, to be able to see how they are recovering. And for those of you that are actually watching this show, if you have interest in looking into Juan Nunez Garcia, I actually did a publicly open player profile on him. I think he's an amazing player and is going to be an amazing talent coming out of Europe. He just recently moved over from Real Madrid over to Ulm just this past summer, and the management of Ratiopharm Ulm did an amazing job getting in a new player development head of player development from Iceland, and I think it's going to work in the favor of this German powerhouse growing even more and more. So definitely look into that. But yeah, it was an amazing game to see from the 7 days EuroCup. I also watched BursaSpor win by 15. And I mean, to be honest, BursaSpor, on the heels of signing a new contract extension with their head coach, Dusan Alimpijevic, I think they really kind of are getting their footing and bearings to a new level. Onrat Bitin had 26 points in the game that they won, and I mean, frankly speaking, I think Bursaspor is going to do amazing stuff also in the Turkish Basketball Super League. So for those of you that basically are watching that competitive league, for sure, have your eyes out on Bursaspor. Definitely. I also recently watched Trento, and they played against Gran Canaria and got their first win in Group B. And I mean, it was just a 3 point difference of a game, but still, I mean, Gran Canaria, there's David Mutaf over there, a player that I really admire. I'm in contact with always, and love his style of play and everything. But I mean, Trento really did bang a good job. I mean, they won by, I think they won with 75 points. So I mean, definitely amazing game that I really liked. I mean, overall, it was a very nice game anyway. Um, London Lions. I mean, the investment that actually went into that team at the start of the season, actually this past summer, and now at the fact that they're kind of starting to hit on all cylinders. Sam Dekker's performance, Luke Nelson basically being one of their top leaders. Definitely, I think they're getting to a more steady pace. They just had their second win in a row. Dekker got 18 points, and then Luke Nelson got 16 in that game recently. Um, and yeah, last but not least, the basketball Champions League FIBA. Um, I actually watched Darüşşafaka win against Ludwigsburg, and I saw Ercan Osmani get a double double. Coach Arnak, you know I admire you, and you basically did, I think, terrific with what you have in your hand. Doshko Zimiro also actually did superb during the game against Ludwigsburg. I think his performance by far is making difference. And again, Darüşşafaka, another basketball Super League team from Turkey, you should definitely look into them. I mean, the way that Coach Arnak basically executes his game strategy from start to finish, and how he kind of builds up towards playing in the late third quarter, especially, that is very, very interesting. I mean, he has a very good level of understanding of how and let's say how to execute in momentum cases. I always love that expression. I mean, how players and coaches really can respond to momentum circumstances. And Coach Arnak definitely does an amazing job in that sense. And I think it's worthwhile keeping an eye out on Darüşşafaka because of that. So definitely, if you can rewatch that game should be on YouTube. If you haven't seen, then just have a look at the highlights. Sarsari won their game, and Deshawn Stephens, former A.Efes player, now with Sarsari, had a double double against PAOK, and what a double double that was! Damn, I mean, this guy can flat out score, but overall, I mean, I think he just kind of like was in takeover mode against PAOK, and just kind of flat out did what he could in terms of the level of play that he could for within his team. Yeah, so before I close up, I actually have a few things that I do want to kind of touch up on. So yeah, I mean, I actually very briefly mentioned this whole case, and I mean, I've had talks with several players that I work with, and also teams that I'm also in touch with, and a lot of people have been kind of putting some thought into it. I mean, why has Will Clyburn really opted for playing overseas versus an NBA minimum contract? Well, in my perspective, I think he actually did a good job in terms of taking up that kind of a circumstance. He's just simply looking for a better circumstance for his family. And I mean, in terms of being able to get the most out of what you can, I mean, European clubs, they definitely offer some good money. So why wouldn't he even consider it? I mean, it's just a smart thing to do for sure. So I see it as a normal thing. On the heels of that, I'll also say this. I mean, this is in part Euroball related, but it also takes us to another side of the global game. A lot of players from Europe that formerly played over in Europe basically are now seeing a lot of attention from teams either in the Middle East or in Asia. For those of you who don't know, Francis, I mean, Dubai is actually making a push to get the EuroLeague Final Four. And I mean, I've even heard of several rumors that they're trying to make a push to try to get certain EuroLeague players to come on over to play. Whether or not this basically turns out to have any level of truth, that is still to be seen. But in any case, I mean, it's a very interesting circumstance, and I wanted to definitely kind of chime in on that. I mean, I think it's something worth, let's say, keeping an eye out on. Yeah, putting all that aside, in recent news, I had come across the fact that Bahçeşehir from Turkey, they actually signed James Gist. And I think that's an amazing signing, to be honest. And that's definitely going to work in the favor of this team from Turkey again. And yeah, I mean, I think I even recently read an article by Bilal Baran Yardımcı from Eurohoops. And I mean, to a point, it actually made a little sense to me that there was some kind of, let's say, insight that basically James Gist was, let's say, looking into signing with them with Bahçeşehir. I mean, by far, the basketball Super League of Turkey is definitely competitive in comparison to other leagues around Europe. I think it's definitely got its strengths in that sense. And I mean, for those overseas players that are looking to compete at a constant high pace and high level, like himself, it makes sense that he actually does come out over there. So yeah, that was definitely one thing I wanted to further on share. Yeah, furthermore, I mean, before I do close off, I do want to also express this. So yeah, I mean, there are several teams that I'm currently in touch with, trying to, let's say, secure consultancy business with. I'm understanding more and more that the overall club's framework is not always geared towards being a high level success. There are either certain funnels within clubs that are geared towards just simply player development too much, or they are not, let's say, geared towards being successful on a day-to-day basis. And this isn't, let's say, anything that specifically is targeted towards just bad coaching or bad management. I mean, it's just about structure and how a level of the leadership of a club is really actually run. I mean, I understand now more and more that especially certain clubs around Europe, especially the more professional that they try to get, they try to hire, let's say, professional managers to run their systems. Pretty normal and natural, to be honest. I mean, circumstances like within Ratiopharm Ulm have an amazing basketball management system. And for instance, Forsten over at Ulm is one of the top former German coach of the year guys. And I mean, he does an amazing job in terms of running the entire club. But like when I look at leagues or structures that are trying to get better, Finland, Sweden, all right, they're more Scandinavian, but I mean, still, I consider them Euroball circumstances. Even if I look at places like Hungary or even, I mean, over here in the Netherlands, even in Belgium and Luxembourg, I mean, these are all locations that are just trying to get better at running their environments. And aside from certain clubs that are really just doing their best with what they have available. Mostly it's volunteer work. I mean, even I myself, I volunteer for Apollo Amsterdam, being their board member on a technical end, but still. So yeah, I mean, just wanted to share those insights. Keep your eye out on the B-Next League. Again, this is in no way, I don't consider it any kind of, let's say, promotion necessarily of Apollo Amsterdam. We're in a case where we're definitely kind of trying to get better for sure this season, and we're trying to develop a lot. But yeah, I mean, overall, I would definitely keep my eye out on the B-Next League. A lot of amazing talent from both the Dutch and the Belgian side to definitely develop further. But yeah, I mean, the, let's say, pace and the recognition, as well as how things are running, it's definitely an interesting environment to be in, and it's definitely going to get better year by year, and it'll definitely be a very, let's say, watchable environment. So if you have the opportunity to, then definitely catch games on BNX TV for sure. And yeah, also, before I do close off, so yeah, keep your eye out on Ubuntu Basketball and all the shows that you see on our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for sure. And yeah, for all players, for all coaches, teams that basically would like to do anything with Ubuntu Basketball, please do feel free to reach out. Have a look at our website. A lot of amazing and cool stuff coming up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This was the very first episode of Euroball Talk, and wishing you all an amazing good weekend. Today was and is the 2nd of December, Friday. So wishing you all the best with the weekend, and looking forward to the second episode.